I've come up with a way to totally eradicate this whole idea of rejection in sales. If it's over at hello, how the heck are you going to succeed in selling? You've got to rise above that and change your mindset.
Hi, everybody. Not sure you can, can't see us, Steve. All I see is a win the ultimate award. Hold on a second. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. There we go. Welcome to the Stump The Guru show. It's Ari Galper here. Hope you're doing well. Thank you to all my listeners and fans who are listening to this every single month through Spotify, whatever other podcast services that you use. You probably know, if you're new to the show, welcome. This is a chance to jump on live, ask me a question with your biggest challenge you're working on right now. Just go to stumptheguru.com. You go live into the green room and Steve will let you in. We usually have people showing up, a bunch of them. Sometimes no one shows up. Either way, Sam's always here for us to chat back and forth. But just wanted to let folks know who are new. If you don't know, REAI is now live, and you can get a free demo at regalper.ai. And what that is 25 years of all my work, 17 million words in a private repository, not available publicly. Many, many years ago, I decided not to make my best work available online. So ChatGPT and all the tools only has access to what I purposely put online, which is basic RE info, but not the good stuff. And all my private work is now in a private digital mind, I call it. And you can access it through a live demo we walk you through. And we have folks right now who are using it every single day as their competitive advantage, their third brain in their business. I can see folks are in there talking to it, asking questions before a sales meeting, rewriting emails, but all based on trust, a trust-based perspective. In fact, one of my clients said to me, Ari, what you do, what REI does and no one else does, is most other public tools, they only polish writing. What you do is rewrite the whole thing from a trust-based perspective, and that creates incredible results. So if you haven't had a chance yet to schedule a live demo, just go to regalper.ai. You'll be blown away to see this live and have you test it, try and break it, and ask your toughest question and see what the answer is. I think you'll be excited about that. So on this show, we just start with a theme that are coming from our audience, and we just kind of open it up and see who's there and riff off the back of that topic. So today, the theme is the idea of rejection, and it's a very deep-seated sort of negative feeling that a lot of us are either fear or afraid of or grew up with, and that's what holds a lot of people back from actually the act of selling in itself, because we're afraid of being rejected. Now, rejection comes from us attempting to put forward our solution, and the other person says, no, I don't want your solution. That's the origin of rejection. When you make an offer, someone says, no, I'm not interested, and then we feel gutted. We feel disappointed. And that is like a vicious cycle. And a lot of the old sales training has taught us that our goal is to show people our solution, do free consulting, prove to them that we have the goods. And then we sit there and we hope they say yes. And then, of course, if they say no, we feel distraught. And so to break that cycle and to be what I call rejection free and never experience that ever again, you have to be able to shift your mindset away from solution-centric thinking to problem-centric thinking, where you don't use your solution as the anchor to your sales process. That is so contrarian. Almost every sales guru or trainer in the world teaches you have to be enthusiastic about what you sell, your product. You have to show them the value. You have to over-deliver. That's all about being solution-centric. And people don't want to be sold in this day and age. I've coined the term the trust recession as it applies to selling. And that comes from so many people over the years who have been almost brainwashed to step in and show folks how they can solve their problem too early in the process, which creates rejection because they say to you at the end, I want to think about it. And then we feel disappointed. They don't want to move forward. So the key to break free of the idea of rejection and experiencing that feeling is to shift your thinking to a problem-centric approach, where you're the doctor and they're the patient. You are not the pharmacist. So many entrepreneurs and business owners who we talk to end up having both identities and mixed together into one. They ask you a few questions, they qualify the prospect, and once their system goes, I can fix the problem, they go right into solution mode. They become the pharmacist too early on, and they cut off the doctor part of the process, and they get stuck and they're chasing ghosts, what I call them. And their whole existence is a pipeline that's not converting except for every once in a while. And they get frustrated with the whole sales environment. And so if that describes you, then it's important for you to make the decision to shift your thinking and let go of that cycle and learn what it's like to be able to connect with someone in one conversation by helping them see the depth and the impact of their own problem and holding yourself back from not attempting to show them what you can do for them too early. If you do that too early and you're missing the framework and languaging to have them open up to you and tell you the truth behind their problem, where you can ask them, is this a priority for you? And they say to you, yes, it is. And then they ask you for help. That's the only way where you can begin to build trust with them without selling yourself. And I mentioned this earlier, I think a couple shows ago. I did a talk to a large group of CEOs recently, and I told all of them the reason why your company is not maximizing your sales opportunities because you've trained your people to sell. You have to untrain them to stop selling and instead teach them how to build trust instead with their potential clients and prospects. Trust building replaces selling. You can't do both mixed together anymore. And that's a new skill set. Yes, you have to go back to learn something new. I know it's tough for people who've been around the game for a long time and you build a big business and you know your stuff. But my thought is that you're probably experiencing what I call the trust recession, where you're chasing leads, they're shopping you, they're not committing to you in the first meeting, and you end up having to follow up with people. It's the same cycle that most people are in. So the answer to removing rejection forever is to learn how to build trust with people in a whole uniquely different way, with a different framework and process, where you're doing deep dive inside their world long enough to contain yourself and not to share your solution, to allow the other person to say to you this phrase, how can you help me? If you can get there with someone in your first conversation, then you know you're at the what I call moment of vulnerability where they trust you. If you're not getting there, please get REAI, get a live demo. Call us for a consultation. Order my book at unlockthegame.com/trustbook. Do something to learn how to upskill yourself so you're not stuck in that cycle. Okay? So on that note, let's see who we have back there, and we'll go from there. We'll wing it. Steve?
Alrighty, I'm gonna bring Sam on today. We got Sam in, so let's bring Sam on. Hey Sam, what's happening, buddy?
Hey Steve, good, really good. Everything's going well in my world, and trust yours is okay as good as well.
All right, so Sam is my cohort here, and he's on every show, and he and I just riff. If we have no folks on asking us a question, which can happen, which is perfectly fine with us, because we enjoy talking about these topics. Sam is a partner of mine. He's in the front lines every single day, talking to business owners and entrepreneurs and sales teams who are struggling, being caught up in the trust recession. And always love to get your thoughts on what you're hearing out there, especially around the topic we covered today, Sam.
Yeah, look, great stuff, Ari. I mean, it's just amazing. It's sometimes it's always back to the basics, right? And we lose sight of that because we want to think, oh, it's got to be more to it. But the reality of it is you're 100% right. And it reminds me of some of the things you said back in the early days. And I remember once you said to me, you lose the sale not because you haven't demonstrated enough value. You lose the sale because they haven't developed enough trust, right, in you. Now, you said it's not that you're not trustworthy, it's that from their mind, they're judging you. And all they want to know is, do I trust this guy and is he the one? And I think that's a powerful thing that you've always taught me, that is constantly something that, I've got to remind myself, but also remind clients that that's it. At the end of the day, that's what they're judging you on, is your ability to develop trust. And another thing you said is that deep trust is developed when they feel that you understand them. It's not really that hard sometimes when you nut it down. That's the basics. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And it's tough because it's seductive when we get someone new on the phone who's a new lead, and they ask us, how can you help me? We think what they want to know right away is the solution. Now, they do want that, yes. But as a doctor, the patient should not dictate what the doctor should do. The doctor does what's best for the patient. Now, we have to redirect the conversation to help them understand that me giving the medicine right now will not help you solve your problem because you aren't ready to solve your problem yet until I understand it better. So that requires some nuance and languaging to shift back to the problem. And what I was telling you years ago was this, Sam, that the irony of all this is they won't tell you this, but the truth is, in this stage of the process, they don't really care about how you solve their problem. What they care about is, as you said, are you the one to solve it or not? They are hiring you not based upon your value. They're hiring you based on your approach, the way you're handling them, the words you use, your approach to them. And if it feels in any way as if you're sizing them up real quickly, talking about your business and yourself and your clients, and you're kind of moving that direction towards the end without doing a deep dive first, it's over at hello.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've always said, this is an emotional decision. It's a feeling. And sometimes they can't actually describe it, but they say, you know what, this guy feels good. I want to go with him. I trust him. He gets me. And he's not trying to create momentum here. I don't feel like I'm being sold. And when you're able to encapsulate all that, that's when a sale is made. It's a direct link from one to the other. They got a problem, you got the solution. They just want you to manage it. I think.
Yeah. The thing is, here's the key to understand. They can't assess the value of your solution until after they're a client, not before, because they haven't used it yet. So by you just talking about it and saying, let me show it to you, they have to take a huge leap of faith to go, well, I guess what he's telling me, I guess it's true, but everyone else told me the same thing last week when I called them. You see how it all appears to be the same? It's a commoditized approach people hate. So the key here is you have to change your approach without delivering value. Now, I don't mean, now let me separate this, because value is what comes from your solution, okay? Now, there's clarity. Clarity replaces value. Clarity is what you help the prospect see around their own problem they can't see on their own. Your job is to unpack their situation, to show them gaps in their own situation they could not see until they met you at the doctor. And then you have to help them monetize those gaps. So they are building a business case for why they should decide to finally commit to solving their own problem. See, the thing is, we think when they call us or contact us, they're interested in solving their problem. Yes, they are interested. But they're not committed to solving it with you now. And that's what makes us reduced into chasing leads,
Oh, absolutely. And when you get those inbound leads or the ones that come from referrals, you instantly get that hopium and you think, woohoo, this is a sale. And you drop everything and you just start solution mode and you start telling them how great you are and what you can do for them. And, they're not ready for that either. Just because it's an inbound lead or just because it's a referral, that's even more times you've got to exercise caution.
Thinking about the current market right now, we as professionals are being shopped.
Yeah.
Right? It's buyers are shopping the sellers. Okay.
Yes.
So you have people coming to you, and people, listen, for everyone listening, shopping your service right now. That's their mindset. I'm in a shopping mall. I'm in this store. I'll go to the next store and the next store. But the key for you is you have to convert them from them being shopping mode to them walking into a door they're opening up in the mall that says doctor's office by accident.
So true.
And they walk into your clinic, they sit in your chair, and you say to them, where does it hurt? That's a whole different experience than I thought they were in. Now, of course, it's done with subtlety and all that. But that's what we teach as, of course, the one called sale. But that's the shift you have to understand to break out of the trust recession.
Absolutely. And to take it a step further, it's even worse because there's so much information out there. It's commoditized, the internet. There's just solutions. There's just lack of, there's knowledge everywhere. So people are coming in. I like what you said about that. Imagine someone coming into a doctor's office. They've got some particular situation. They've already been on the net. They've researched everything. And they go into the doctor's office and they say, hey, listen, I've got this. And can you just give me those antibiotics or give me that thing over your shoulder? I'll just take that. Thanks. I mean, if you're a doctor, you'd say, are you nuts?
Yeah. The doctor would go to jail if he did that. That's called, that's called malpractice.
Yeah.
And we, as business owners, commit malpractice by selling.
Yeah.
The act of selling in itself is wrong. It's the problem itself. We have to stop selling.
Yeah.
And as the doctor does, build trust with bedside manner and empathy around the person's problem. And that's a big shift for most people who are conditioned the old way.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, oftentimes people say to me, Ari, how does your program work? And I say to them, we don't have a program. It's an intervention. We got to transform your thinking a different way. It can be done very quickly, but you got to be open to being coached because most people have egos. They don't want to be told what they know is hurting them. But those who are open-minded, who are willing to start from scratch and realize that their old thinking is the problem, not the market, then they'll be successful.
Yeah, I think too, the other thing too is a lot of people are judging on their wins. They're saying, oh, well, it's not too bad. I'm getting clients and I'm getting traction and my business is doing okay. But I think what they forget about is what they're actually losing. And for many times, the actual loss is significantly more than what they're bringing on. Surely that's a problem. I mean, if you look at it like that and you sort of ignore what you're losing, you've got potential to double your business, 3 times your business if you capture all the losses. Would you agree?
That's so true that most business owners measure their success on how much they're making. They don't focus on how much they're losing. See, most businesses have a pipeline that they're, quote, following up with. They view that as potential. They see it as, oh, great. We have $10 million of potential in our pipeline. We're doing well. Our view is that's $10 million of lost income, lost revenue, because of the fact you're actually chasing them in the first place. It's a loss, not a potential gain. Once you do it that way, then you say to yourself, oh, we have to solve this problem. I had someone call me recently, head of a large organization that has a big sales team, and they said to me, Ari, we'd love to bring you in to teach our team some new ideas, inspire us for the new year, give us some inspiration, teach us what you know. I said to him, what's the problem you want to solve? No, I just want you to, we're doing great. I want you to come in, give us some inspiration, give us some ideas. We love your approach. Just inspire the team to do better. I said to him, what's the problem you want to solve? No, we're doing. And I said, let me ask you a question. How many opportunities does your team get? Leads. He said 100. Of the 100, how many convert? He says 18. I said to him, what happened to the other 72 or whatever the number is? Where do they all go? They're in the pipeline. We're in the pipeline. I go, let's focus on that problem. You're losing the majority of all your leads who never convert. He's like, oh, right. Even the prospect themselves cannot articulate their own problems. Hence why you have to be the doctor to diagnose it and give them clarity themselves on their own issues.
Yeah. What makes me laugh is the conversations that seem to go on for a long time, months, sometimes even years. And people say, yeah, I'm just building a relationship with them. What, for 2 years? Like a couple of months? I mean, why have such a long sales cycle? I mean, to me, that sort of tends to identify that you really haven't got to the problem of what they're wanting to solve. I mean, why drag on? I mean, I think people have got enough friends. I don't think they need more friends.
That's so true, Sam, what you just said. The reason for a long sales cycle is the problem itself has not been made a priority for them to solve sooner. Because what you did as a seller, you made a mistake by overemphasizing relationship building and not problem solving.
Yeah.
You see, what you tapped on there, Sam, is important because here's the distinction. Relationship building, real relationships, not the fake ones, the real ones take a lot of time. Multiple meetings, lunches, golfing, phone calls. That's how you build real, authentic relationships. They take a lot of time. Now, if you have a lot of time to wait and you don't need to bring any money in, no problem. But we realize you can not focus on relationship building, but instead only focus on trust building and compress your sales cycle down to a short amount of time, cut out the relationship part, and solve the problem with them there and have them sign up with you on the spot. Because relationship building should be occurring after they're a client, not before they're a client, which I know is a mind-blowing concept for those who've been taught to build relationships first.
Yeah. I like what you said, Ari. It's about creating urgency, well, helping them see the urgency of the situation. And if that's not established, then they're not going to want to take any action. And who cares if it takes ages and ages to talk about something? This urgency has to be established.
Yeah, and we're not pouring salt in the wound here. We're not trying to turn the pain. We're not doing that sales thing that I hate so much. We're having them recognize the impact of their own problem and having them own it and asking the question, is this a priority for you?
Yeah.
To address and solve once and for all. It's their problem, not ours. I'm not trying to accentuate and amplify it. I'm trying to help them see the truth of what they can't see on their own.
Yeah, I love that.
They don't want to solve it.
Mm.
Have a nice day. See you later.
Yeah.
We're doctors. We solve problems. If the patient themselves does not want to solve a problem, then why are we here?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I've always remember saying early in the early days, you've got to be the truth teller. Someone's got to be the truth teller in the room. Just like, the doctor, if you went in if you went in with a particular problem and you thought it was no big deal and he knows that there's more to it that you don't see, he'd want to tell you and say, look, that's fine, but do you realize, have you considered, are you aware of that this is a problem that could lead to X, Y, Z? You're then going to realize, you're going to think, wow, geez, I didn't realize that. You'll have a lot more respect for that doctor. He's pointed out something that you weren't aware of. And then that by default develops its own urgency if people want to solve it, of course. If they don't, no big deal. But at least you now know that what the options are and how serious the situation can be. Truth teller.
You just had a key word there. You said respect.
Yeah.
People who sell don't get respect.
Mm.
If you don't get respect, you don't get trust.
Yeah.
Respect gets created from not selling yourself.
Yeah.
Respect is created by doing a deep dive inside their world.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how empathy is created with people. That's how real relationships are built when you care about somebody else. They have to say to themselves, like you said, he or she gets me.
Yeah.
And he's not trying to sell me anything.
Mm.
He's trying to help me understand my own problem. And they say to themselves, he's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Not his solution is the one, but he's the one.
Yeah.
They keep shifting away from thinking you and your solution is the answer. It's you are the answer with them by your ability to stay inside their world long enough till they say to you, how can you help me?
Absolutely. And the other crazy part, Ari, is that people pay more for someone that they actually can trust, that you can actually they'll want to pay for that extra premium because they think, I don't want to go with the cheap provider. I don't want to go with lesser options. I want to go with this guy. And if I've got to pay more or this person, yeah, why not? Because I trust him. I know I'm going to get the result. I'm going to get my problem solved I trust them. I feel good about them. He's the one or she's the one, you know?
One of our clients owns a tree business. A roof business. And he just 3x'd his fees from $2,000 to $6,000.
Yeah.
His competitors are charging $2,000. He's charging $6,000. Same services. What's the difference? They trust him more not to screw up this roof.
Yeah.
Because the process itself that he delivered to them, proved to them they can trust him over anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are playing the price game. They think, oh, I'll just undercut or I'll go cheaper, or it's a one-way ticket down to the bottom, competing on price. You want to not compete on price? There's the answer. Be the trusted authority. Be respected. Do what other people can't do, which is to establish that respect and show people that, you know, you are engaging around their problem and you can help them and you have no agenda. When you are able to explain that and portray that, it's a different world.
I think the summary of today, Sam, is this. They are buying your approach, not your solution.
Yeah.
Fall out of love with your solution and fall in love with their problems. And on that note, Sam, thank you for joining me today. Love bantering back and forth with you, and we'll do more of this more often. So thank you today, everyone, for joining us on Stump The Guru. If you don't have a copy of my new book called Trust in a Split Second, you get a free copy at arigalper.ai. It says free book plus consultation. To order the book there. If you want to get a live demo of Ari AI, which will solve most of your problems in real time, just schedule a demo at arigalper.ai as well. I also do a lot of speaking to lots of groups who want to reach me about speaking, get me through there as well. So on that note, I really believe that this is the way of the future. And if you have questions about it, don't hesitate, reach out, get some help. Talk soon. See you next time.
I've come up with a way to totally eradicate this whole idea of rejection in sales. If it's over at hello, how the heck are you going to succeed in selling? You've got to rise above that and change your mindset.